while I tell you the story about how I got catfished big time.
0, 1.
I just fell and broke this chair trying to adjust the light for this video. I'm someone who really hates long intros, so we won't do that. My toner broke when I fell, so we're skipping toner today. So when I was in the 9th grade, there was this kid that he wasn't in any of my classes, so I don't even quite remember how we met. But he had a crush on me, right? And I don't even remember if I was actually initially interested when I found out that he had a crush on me. But he was in another class and we somehow ended up dating. And this only lasted for, I want to say, like 2 days max. And I, of course, broke up with him. I don't remember why, but I did. He was extremely salty about it for some reason. And now I wasn't popular and he wasn't popular either. So honestly, I don't think anyone really even noticed that we were together or that we even broke up. But at some point, I'm sure everyone just forgot if they did. At this point, I honestly wasn't even thinking about this kid like at all. I completely forgot about him until one day I get a text message, and this is from a phone number that's not saved in my contacts at all. And it's not even an area code that's near my area whatsoever. But it turns out it's the main character of the story besides me. It's this guy who he claims that my ex, to this day, I don't even know if this is true. He claims that my ex gave him my number because he thinks we would make a good couple or a cute couple. I can't remember exactly what the term was I used. For whatever reason, me being dumb, I decide to continue to text him. I ask him for a selfie really early on because I'm not that dumb, okay? And he sends me a selfie, and this guy, like, when I tell you he was exactly my type, he was exactly my type. At this point in my life, I was kind of into like the skater type, you know, like the baggy shirts. If you know, you know. Because we continued to talk and I saw what he looked like and I assumed he was a real person. My ex knew him or whatever. I, to this day, never even asked my ex if he actually knew this guy, but it doesn't even matter once you hear the rest of the story. I talked to him all day. Like I'm not even kidding you. I would be in class texting this guy, and at my school, we had a cell phone blocker. But you best believe I found a way to make sure I sent a text to this man throughout the entire, even though I did want to talk to him and I enjoyed talking to him, I felt like at one point I didn't really have a choice. Anytime I would take too long, in his opinion, to respond, even though he knew I was in school, and this should have been my red flag asking as to why he was able to respond so quick. I should have asked what school he went to, but I ended up talking to this guy for years and I didn't. We're backtracking, okay? We're going back to the beginning stages. I felt as though I didn't really have a choice because of how upset he would get when I didn't respond quickly, and he always just jumped to the conclusion that I was talking to other guys, and I wasn't popular, I wasn't cute, so he should have thrown that accusation out the window. That was my first of many red flags. Because he was cute and I liked him and talked to him all the time, I ignore these, and at one point he decided that he wanted to meet me in person. Bruh, I was so into the story I forgot to put eyeshadow and concealer under my eyes. Now at this point, of course, I'm excited, right? I'm gonna meet my crush, this guy that I've been talking to for all this time. And then he tells me he has something to tell me. He tells me he's not the guy in the photo. Not only was the guy in the photo just some random photo that he found on Google, the worst part, he wasn't even the same age. This guy wasn't even in high school. He was 6 to 8 years older than me, making him well past adult age. If you get anything, if anything at all out of this story, it's to not talk to people that are much older than you. When you're a kid, I'm talking about. When you're an adult, do what you want. So I'm like 14, 15 at this time, and this guy's like 20, 22, but the story gets worse. The first few times that he initiated to hang out, I was not down, okay? So instead, my older stepsister, she was. So she would meet up with him and he would like lure us in with like these lavish gifts just to get us to meet up with him. At one point in time, whatever I wanted, he got it for me. Like if I wanted something from Hot Topic, he would have me make an account on like the Hot Topic website, and then I would tell him the password and whatever was in the shopping cart, he would check it out and send it directly to my house. That's not at all normal, by the way, and if anyone older ever does that to you and you're younger, you should immediately tell your parents. After I had received all of these lavish gifts, it felt like a trust, you know, in a sense. In my head, that's how I felt. We both were really into skateboarding at the time. Like he was actually sponsored with a skateboard brand. Well, allegedly. I met at a local skate park with my stepsister there, and I mean, things went as good as the situation could go. He was complimenting me the entire time. He got really upset when any of the other skateboarders that were there, because this was a park that I frequented, I would see some people that I know, and of course they were guys primarily skateboard, and he would be upset when I would talk with them. It was a whole thing. But honestly, after we met up, I felt like the age difference was more apparent to me. And I mean, the whole situation as a whole was creepy, but I didn't really realize that at the time. For him, I felt like it just made the situation worse. Like, he liked me more after he met me in person. I remember at one point he even left me a note at school, like in a bush. I can't remember why he was at my school. He said supposedly he was visiting for like some skateboard thing, but we didn't have nothing like that at my school. He left me a love letter in a bush. Probably still have it somewhere in my shed. I don't know why I kept it. Probably to remind myself of a lesson that I learned from this experience. But if you're not a teacher, there's no reason why you should be 2022 at a high school. As time went on, this may be like messed up of me, but I would still accept the gifts, even though I kind of started to realize how wrong this situation was. Wrong for him, because I didn't really know what I was doing by talking to him. I love these lashes. I cut them in half and it gives like this fox eye. This lasted for years. I cut him off during times when I had an actual boyfriend who was my age, but it didn't last long. I ended up changing my phone number for different reasons, actually for bullying, and then from then on we never talked again. He ended up apologizing to me not too long ago, but I mean, you already preyed on me, homeboy. It's kind of too late. And that's the story about how I got catfished. Now, the moral of the story is that we need to bring awareness to how often this happens. And I'll give you a little up close. Here's the finished look. Whew, I am loving this look.